Hey guys, welcome back. So this is an outline of the deck. I'm just going to go through some key cards and help you understand the way that the deck works, basically. So Twin Slice is an amazing card in the early game, especially in a mirror match when you play against the same deck that you're running. Twin Slice lets you kill Battle Fiends off early to stop them gaining pressure on you. They also allow for massive damage at the end of the game with your weapon. They obviously bulk your weapon up and let you take taunts out and then go face. With heal, then there's the Twin Slice also combos with Outcast. This Altruist, the Outcast. So if you've got a sticky hand, you can maneuver low cost cards so that they get outcast basically. So they get put on either side of your hand and you get to spend them for cheap, but you'll see that in gameplay. But once that happens, you can be stuck for extra hits with the Altruist, but you can always spam a Twin Slice, which will put one of the Twin Slices onto the end of your hand for an extra hit. So that's how this synergies in the deck. It also synergizes with the Overseer because you can play it on turn 3 and then you can immediately trigger the card's effect with Twin Slice rather than having to pay mana for it. It combos the Glade Adept. It lets you play it on turn 5 and still get the upturn of its deal 4 damage because you can play it for 0 mana and it activates your Adept for free. The Battle Fiend's great in the deck. Again in combo with the Twin Slice because it gets you a 1/1 and you can activate it as soon as you play it onto the board if you need to. So you're immediately buffing its attack, and the longer it sticks on the board, the worse it is for your opponent because it just, every time you hit with your hero power, it's going to give that battlefield an extra damage each turn. Battle Fiend combos with a neutral card that you can get out of the latest set, which gives Battle Fiend 2 extra health, which makes him even stickier, and you can see how that benefits keeping him on the board for more damage to your opponent's face. Blazing Battle Mage is the same as Battle Fiend. If you get it early in the game and you get to Beaming Sidekick it, it's already one of the strongest 1-drops in the game, and to get a buff as well off of a Beaming Sidekick, you can see how pushing its damage each turn will be effective in the matchup. Chaos Strike's great. It draws you a card and it does what you want to do anyway. It gives activation to many of your cards. Again, the Glade Bound Adept, the Overseer. It's great basically. It's just a very, very flexible card. Draws you into the damage that you need, adds damage, and activates your other cards. Great card. The Sightless Watcher, again, combos with the Chaos Strike. So you might find situations where you have 4 mana and you're running low on cards. So you'd Sightless Watcher and then combo it with Chaos Strike. The Watcher lets you see what card you can top deck, and then Chaos Strike will top deck that card. It'll draw you the card that you put on top of your deck. It's a great all-around card to find you any card that you need in your deck for a response to what your opponent does. So it's a great asset to the team. Umbra Wing is a broken 2-drop. So it gives you way more stats than you should be able to play on turn 2. And when you think that it combos with your hero power that's already broken, 1 mana is the Demon Hunter hero power, which makes the weapon 2 attack and develops 2 minions on the board. Very, very broken card. Very powerful card. Again, it's a card that synergizes well in the deck as well with the Glade Bound Adept. It activates it for free. So you prep it, you've already got it for maybe turn 4, maybe turn 3, because the weapon has 2 life. You could prep it on 3, 4, 5, and then there you've got your Glade Bound Adept. Frozen Shadow Weaver was a card that got adopted late into this deck. It's there because there's a lot of classes with Galakron, and the weapon denial is very valuable in matches against Galakron. It's also a great card in the mirror match against Demon Hunter because you can freeze many of the tokens that Demon Hunter hurts you with, stall for damage yourself, or stop the very, very powerful weapon that's in Demon Hunter that we'll get onto later. Kane's a great finishing card. It stops your opponent from playing Taunt. Taunt is just simply a minion card text that stops you from hitting your opponent's face and having to trade with the minion that they put down. Kayn, however, goes over the top of Taunt and can be a great finisher for when your opponent builds a wall. The Scoundrel in the deck is also a newcomer to the deck, but is very flexible. You'll find that Demon Hunter benefits highly from flexible cards such as this, because the range of spells that Demon Hunter has are very, very beneficial in different matchups. Just having a card that lets you pick a card that you wouldn't normally add to the deck can swing a game for you. Sometimes you can be low on health and you can use it to dig for Demon Hunter cards that heal your face, and also you can use it to find damage to finish your opponent off. Altruis is probably MVP to this deck. He synergizes so well with other cards in the deck that he's a must include, and is why I did say that you do need legendaries in this deck. The deck is quite cheap, and that's why I've picked it for this run for all of you. You get this deck basically unlocked for free when you take part in the Demon Hunter solo mission. Solo missions can be found under play, and it would be Ashes of Outland. So we hear Illidan's story basically. You go through the prologue missions, and each one of the missions unlocks you cards, and it unlocks you the class of Demon Hunter to play. They give you a basic Demon Hunter deck, and what do you know, most of those cards are in this. So really, I think that you have to unlock Altruis and Kayan. You might get a Metamorphosis, I'm not too sure, but that could be another one. I've got a feeling you get Metamorphosis. You need to unlock this with packs, and you also need to buy the Kayan in the deck. While we're on the subject of Altruis, I mentioned previously that there's an effect for Demon Hunters called Outcast. Outcast means that either left or right side of your hand, the furthest left or the furthest right card will be Outcast cards. So if you play those cards, they give you extra benefits for other Demon Hunter cards with Outcast as attack. So Altruis, every time you play an Outcast card, he deals 1 damage to everything other than your minions. So he'll hit all of your opponent's stuff and his face each turn by 1 every time you play an Outcast card. Making sure that flexibility to play those cards in combination with Altruis can make him an extremely powerful minion, such as the foremost mentioned Twin Slice. Your other cheap things are great to play with him as well, because they're only 1 mana, and also another card, the Skull of Gul'dan, makes your things cheaper to play. So Skull of Gul'dan is a perfect example for why you would hold Altruis and play the Skull first. Holding Altruis in your hand and then playing Skull allows you to play things for cheaper, sometimes for 0 mana, and do those massive swing turns. You can clear board with Altruis, and you can kill your opponent with him. We kind of mentioned Glavebound Adept. He's just a fantastic card, overstatted for what he does. 6 damage, is a must deal with minion from your opponent's point of view, but he does an immediate effect of damage when it's played, and he combos so well with your other cards, you have to have him in this deck. Metamorphosis is a cheap Pyroblast. You think if you pay Pyroblast is 10 mana and you get it for 1 turn. Metamorphosis is a Pyroblast for 7 mana, which is kind of crazy. You can use it over turns, or you can flexibly hit minions with it, and in combination with Skull of Gul'dan, it's worth 2 mana. It's just crazy. It will change your hero power to do 5 damage to a target on the board over 2 turns. A combo with this card might be to hero power, and then you play the Metamorphosis, and then you get to hero power again because it changes your hero power. So you get 1 extra attack from hero power in the first time, and then you Metamorphosis again for 5 damage. So you'd be doing 6 damage worth of stats. Warglaves is a massive combo activator. It's not just ridiculously powerful for clearing minions on your opponent's side of the board, but is also a massive damage creator. It combos perfectly with Twin Slice. It activates many of your minions that like battle hits. So the Overseer and Battle Fiend can be absolutely nuts in combination with the Warglaves. And then finally, the last card, probably the most broken card in the whole deck, is Skull of Gul'dan. It's already been nerfed once, if you can believe it. But basically, if you have this card in Outcast, it will draw you 3 cards, and those 3 cards that you draw will be reduced in cost by 3 mana. Absolutely nuts. Because your stuff is cheap anyway, so it just allows you to build a board in an instant from 1 card. It also activates your Altruis, the Outcast. It can draw you into finishing damage with Kayan. It can get you an easy trade with Glade Adept because it makes him worth 2 mana. It's just insane. It's also really powerful because it's a very flexible draw card. There's not many cards in Hearthstone where you get 2 upsides to playing a card. So Skull of Gul'dan will draw you 3 cards as it's your main draw mechanic. But also on top of that, it's reducing those cards. So you're getting 2 upsides for paying 6 mana.